This is the immigration story of Suraj Marchandi. Suraj grew up with one brother and his mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. He was born in 1984 in India and is currently 38. He had to leave his country for a job opportunity his dad had wanted. In India, there were many fewer job opportunities than in America. Suraj was only 5, so he didn't have many feelings about this, and he didn't really know what this had meant. He also had to leave behind his cousins, aunts, and uncles. He also had to leave behind his grandparents. This was very hard for him because he lived with them his whole life, on top of the fact he had to leave every one of his friends. He was sad he was going to leave them, but he didn't know how long he was going to be gone. It was his first time going on a plane for a long time. He had been on a plane before, but it was only for a short amount of time for vacation. He had also never been on a flight at night. After the flight, he landed in JFK. His new home was going to be in Washington Township. It was in New Jersey. He was most fascinated by the highways. Back in India, the highways were not like America. At the time, back in 1999, there were not as many fancy cars and highways. There were some parts of America that were challenging to him. One thing that was challenging to him was everyone in his town spoke English. That felt really weird to him. He was used to a mix of languages, but there it was all English. He had a couple of people that really made the adjustment easier for him and his family. His aunts and cousins were a big part of that. He moved 5 minutes away from where they lived, so they helped them and showed them what schools to go to. This is them now. They also helped him and his siblings meet friends. Even though his cousins helped him, he still had to make new ones. It was really hard for him because he ended up having to make them from scratch. When he came to the US, he attended school. He had attended school in India, but he had only been there for pre-K and a nursery school. He met 2 friends right from the beginning at the same time. One's name was Will and one's name was Sharon. They were in his class on the first day of school. They both became his closest friends. They ended up being friends for many years. They both also helped him make other new friends. He was surprised by a lot of things in the US. It was very different from India. He was very surprised by the candy because he was little, but he was also surprised about the food. In India, they ate Indian food, and there, they didn't. According to his mom, he ate hot dogs all day, and he also ate pizza because that's also very yummy. His first job was when he was 13 years old, and he was a camp counselor. He worked for a day camp. He worked at a middle school that was nearby. He was in 8th grade going into his freshman year in high school. There were also some things he really missed about his homeland. He really did miss the food. He still thinks that the food was much better than what you got in the US. He also still has a lot of cousins and relatives that are over there. Luckily, he can still see them. He goes to them at least once a year. He also constantly calls them. Suraj is still very happy with the move. Today, he has a lovely wife and 2 happy children. He also has an amazing job. That is the immigration story of Suraj Marchandi.